Have you ever wondered about the origins of Israel, the land often referred to as the cradle of three major religions? Let's journey back in time to understand the early history of this intriguing land. The genesis of Israel is traced back to the biblical patriarch Abraham, who entered into a covenant with God, marking the beginning of a unique relationship between the divine and a chosen people. The Israelites, the descendants of Abraham, found themselves in Egypt, where they were enslaved for hundreds of years. This period of struggle ended with the dramatic exodus led by Moses, who, according to the Bible, was chosen by God to liberate the Israelites and lead them to the Promised Land, a journey that took 40 years. Upon reaching their destination, the Israelites established the Kingdom of Israel around 1100 BCE, under the leadership of King Saul. After his reign, King David and then his son Solomon rose to power, creating a prosperous and unified nation. But unity was not to last. After Solomon's death, the kingdom split into two, the northern kingdom of Israel and the southern kingdom of Judah. This division marked the beginning of a turbulent period, filled with internal strife and external threats. In 722 BCE, the Assyrians invaded and destroyed the northern kingdom of Israel, scattering its people. A little over a century later, the Babylonians conquered the southern kingdom of Judah, destroying the first temple in Jerusalem and exiling its inhabitants. Yet, the spirit of the Israelites remained unbroken. The Persian king Cyrus the Great, who defeated the Babylonians, allowed the Jews to return to their homeland and rebuild their temple. This period of Persian rule provided a degree of stability and autonomy for the Jewish community, laying the groundwork for the resilient nation that Israel would become. And so, the early foundations of Israel were set, marking the beginning of a tumultuous and fascinating history. Following Persian rule, Israel found itself under the dominion of various empires. But how did this impact the Jewish population? Well, the first significant shift came with the conquest of Alexander the Great. In the 4th century BCE, Alexander's forces swept through the region, bringing with them the influence of Hellenistic culture. This period, known as the Hellenistic era, saw a blending of Greek and local cultures, and for the Jewish people, it introduced new philosophical and political ideas, yet also brought conflicts over maintaining their unique cultural and religious identity. However, this period of Hellenistic rule was not to last. By the 1st century BCE, the Roman Empire had extended its reach into the region. The Romans, under Pompey the Great, took control of Jerusalem, marking the beginning of Roman rule. This was a time of great upheaval for the Jewish population. The Romans imposed heavy taxes and restricted religious practices, leading to widespread discontent and a series of revolts. One of the most significant events during this time was the destruction of the Second Temple in Jerusalem by the Romans in the year 70 CE. This was not only a devastating loss from a cultural and religious perspective, but also marked the beginning of the Jewish diaspora. Following the destruction of the temple, Jewish revolts against Roman rule continued, but with less success. The Jewish people were eventually scattered across the Roman Empire and beyond, marking the beginning of the diaspora. The Jewish diaspora marked a significant shift in Israel's history, scattering the Jewish people across the globe. This period of dispersion had a profound impact on the Jewish people, shaping their identity and culture in new and lasting ways. It also set the stage for the next chapter in Israel's history, one that would see the Jewish people return to their ancestral homeland, but not without further trials and tribulations. From the ashes of the Roman Empire, a new power arose in the Middle East. But how did this change the face of Israel? In the 7th century, a new faith was born in the Arabian Peninsula, Islam. The followers of this fledgling religion, led by the Prophet Muhammad, set out to unite the Arabian tribes under the banner of Islam. Their conquests soon reached the Levant, the region we now know as Israel. Islamic rule brought significant changes. Arabic became the language of administration and culture, and Islam became the dominant religion. But unlike in many other conquered lands, the local Jewish and Christian populations were allowed to continue practicing their faiths, albeit under certain restrictions. As the centuries rolled on, Jerusalem, the holy city of three major religions, caught the attention of Christian Europe. In the late 11th century, Pope Urban II called for a crusade to retake the Holy Land from the Muslims. This marked the beginning of 2 centuries of conflict known as the Crusades. For a time, the Crusaders were successful. They established a network of kingdoms across the Levant, including the Kingdom of Jerusalem. But their rule was often brutal and oppressive, a stark contrast to the relative tolerance of the earlier Islamic rule. However, the tide of the Crusades eventually turned. The renowned Muslim leader, Salah ad-Din, recaptured Jerusalem in the late 12th century. Following his victory, the region saw a return to Islamic rule, first under the Egyptian Mamluks and later under the Ottomans, who controlled the region until the end of World War I. Throughout these shifts in power, one thing remained constant: the significance of Israel. Despite the change in rulers, the region continued to be a hub of religious, cultural, and historical importance. It was a crossroads of civilizations, a melting pot of religions, and a battleground for empires. Despite the constant change in rule, Israel remained a significant religious and cultural hub. As the winds of change swept across Europe in the 19th century, a new movement arose. But how did this lead to the creation of modern Israel? Well, let's unravel this intriguing tale. As the 19th century dawned, Europe was in the grip of change. Amidst this flux, the Zionist movement was born, fueled by the enduring dream of returning to Zion, the biblical homeland. This wasn't just a religious aspiration, but a political one, aimed at establishing a Jewish homeland to counter increasing anti-Semitism. The Zionist movement gained momentum under the leadership of Theodor Herzl, who envisioned a Jewish state as the solution to the Jewish question, a term that referred to the socio-political status of Jews in Europe. The Zionist Congress, organized by Herzl in 1897, became the platform for articulating these aspirations. Now, let's jump a couple of decades to World War I. In its aftermath, Britain issued the Balfour Declaration in 1917. This document expressed Britain's support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. But it also promised that nothing would prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine. Fast forward to the end of World War II, and the horrors of the Holocaust reinforced the call for a Jewish homeland. The British mandate for Palestine, burdened by the complexities of managing Jewish immigration and Arab opposition, was handed over to the United Nations. The UN proposed a partition plan in 1947, dividing Palestine into Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem under international administration. Despite Arab rejection of the plan, the State of Israel was declared on May 14, 1948, marking the birth of the modern Jewish state. The creation of modern Israel marked a significant milestone in history, but it also sparked new conflicts. The story of Israel's genesis is a tale of perseverance, survival, and the quest for a homeland. But it's also a tale interwoven with the complexities of geopolitics and the enduring echoes of history. In the aftermath of its formation, Israel found itself in a region fraught with tension. But how has the country navigated these challenges? In the years following its establishment, Israel was thrust into a series of conflicts, known collectively as the Arab-Israeli Wars. The nation's survival hung in the balance as it faced off against neighboring countries, in battles that would define its borders and its place in the Middle East. Despite the adversities, Israel managed to broker peace treaties with 2 of its former adversaries. In 1979, Israel and Egypt penned the Camp David Accords, marking the first official recognition of Israel by an Arab state. This was followed by the Israel-Jordan Treaty of Peace in 1994, further stabilizing the region. However, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains an ongoing struggle, a complex issue rooted in decades of political, religious, and territorial disputes. It's a topic that continues to dominate global headlines and international diplomacy, underscoring the intricate challenges that Israel faces in the modern age. Yet, amidst the geopolitical tumult, Israel has experienced remarkable growth and development. The nation has become a global leader in technology and innovation, earning the nickname Startup Nation. From cybersecurity to medical technology, artificial intelligence to agricultural innovation, Israel's technological prowess has been a driving force in its economic progression. Moreover, Israel's cultural landscape has flourished, with its film industry gaining international recognition, its cuisine delighting palates worldwide, and its vibrant art scene contributing to the country's rich tapestry. Israel's journey through the modern age has been one marked by conflict and resolution, hardship and prosperity, struggle and innovation. It's a journey that reflects the resilience and determination of its people, constantly pushing forward in the face of adversity. Despite its turbulent history, Israel stands today as a testament to the resilience and determination of its people. Please subscribe to our channel for more.